well, you'll see some Masters and some Primes.
1988, this is just before the amalgamation. So it certainly wasn't lack of on-field, although Arno was struggling. But
Arno was struggling, and a lot of the players retired after 1998. I don't think Peter played for Arno at all, did he? He played
I think he
B-grade.
did. No,
Did he?
he played A-grade, I think.
But Chris,
Port wouldn't have had a B-grade or a Colt had they gone on. They were, so lucky in numbers. So we were lucky to win that last premiership.
yeah.
Yeah. Poor old Arno, they struggled there for a number of years and took some fairly big hidings, but yeah.
But they had a golden patch when Peter Wren was around.
Exactly right, yeah.
He was a hard man, Peter.
Yeah, he's the
And a
same,
big man.
same 6'4", won a male medal in 1964. He got his goal umpired for I don't know how many years, and you know his son that played for the Crows anyway, Sean.
But Peter could really play.
Yeah, he was a big tall fella, loped along, and he rucked down the Mutlot with another bloke called David Masters for years. Him and David rucked in the County Jurors side.
He could play footy. You can see where his son Sean got it from.
Well, in fact, Sean, of course, was not only a big bloke, but very hard at it too, wasn't
He was very similar to his dad.
he? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But who was the better footballer, Sean or Peter?
Oh, well, Peter perhaps never had the opportunities that Sean did, but
He won a male medal, and Nana Bay won a lot of premierships too. Can I just tell you a little incident on the oval? Should leave it there, but anyway, I was coaching Cow North in 1966, and there was a man in goals was called Bob Atkinson, and there's a big 6'4" ruckman for Arna Bay, Peter Wren was his name, and he was playing and he mistreated Bob Atkinson, so Greg thought he'd settle that, so he comes straight into Wren and put two fists like that. And next thing I saw, Greg run across the oval and Wren was chasing him.
I was only a kid. I remember that as the Dickinson's in here.
That's the truth. I thought, geez, this bloke's going to kill me. I didn't get reported either.
Peter, I did hear a story the other day from the Cow North coach, Greg, about being at this ground many years ago.
Yeah.
And having a little altercation. You'd recall that?
With Greg Mullins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What happened?
Well, it was a very windy day and the wind was blowing straight down the ground.
Yeah.
And we were trying to work the ball up this flank. And I took a mark, and there's a little fella called Bobby Schultz for standing the mark. And I virtually ran through him and just kept on going, you see. And when I took my kick up here somewhere, Melton Mullins come out of the sun, and I could see this bloody ball of a man. He had his knees up and his elbows up, and he caught me on the shoulder, like he leapt and stuck me a beauty. Anyway, as it turned, he knocked me down, but it didn't hurt me. But so then I got up and chased him, and about out in the middle somewhere, I caught him, and I had him by the throat, and our captain coach come and pulled me off. So it's a good thing he did, otherwise I bloody would have been rubbed out for the season.
Good on you, thanks very much. That's what you were talking about the other
That's
night.
about what happened.
I was coaching that year, that was in 66. He was chasing Mullins, and Mullins got him, and Mullins ran away and he caught him. Because Mullins wouldn't be in it, like he'd hit somebody and then he'd go on and play football, and they'd go on chasing Greg.
59, I wasn't too flash. I was still a pretty light kid and still growing, and I got to say, probably a bit timid too. But a year later, I was anything but. You know, I sort of transformed, I suppose, from a boy to a man in 1 year virtually. And we won the premiership in 60, lost the grand final 61, won it again in 62, had 2 years off, then did 3 in a row.
That's 1965. You've heard about the draw, did you?
No, go on.
Yeah. And they put the grand final back a week, and we lost. We lost them.
What year was that?
Oh, probably 65.
Mm-hmm.
Here we are, Arno Bay. We're third, Arno Bay's top.
Mm-hmm.
But I reckon we bowled over Port Neale, and then we drew with Arno Bay and had a replay a week later, and they beat us by about 2 goals, I think. I don't know whether this is in here or not.
Whereabouts was that?
On the Cleveland.
Oh, they were all on Cleve County Jerboys at that stage, is that right?
No.
No? Or they shifted them around?
They shifted them around, but I think that was on the Cleveland. Arno Bay home by a point at Cow. When's that? 1965.
And then, of course, that one in '74 was a good bit later, but I played in, I think it was 7 grand finals. We won 5 of them. I think it was, yeah.
Which is probably round about the time that Port Neale were winning premierships too.
Yeah, well, they won 2, but they never won another one until 84 or 5. And of course, we were weak as piss then. And they used to, we used to flog them for 10 years, and then they come back and flogged us for a bit. Then just before the amalgamation, they were really making a meal of us.
Yeah, look. Arno Bay was had a pretty bloody good history, but we were lacking numbers. And like Baz Hartwig said to me one day, he said, you know, don't worry about it too much, you just can't make strawberry jam out of shit. But our very last game we played again, and it was against Port Neale, and we lost by 40 goals, I reckon.
Yeah, really?
I can remember that. I reckon it was the last minor round game in '88.
Yeah.
We played Arno Bay. Port Neale played Arno Bay. We played Arno, and I don't know, we won by, must have been 40 odd goals in the end, but I can remember at half time, Fricky was actually the coach. He didn't even let them inside, he kept them out in the oval, and they just had to run through handball and then kicking for the whole of half time.
That's harsh.
That was harsh.
Yeah, our guys couldn't mark, they couldn't kick, couldn't handball, like, what do you do?
Yeah. Because they were pretty handy at that time. They won the premiership that year, didn't they?
Yeah.
In '88.
Yeah, 86, 87, 88, yeah.
Yeah. It was Ports.
Should have won. Well, we were in the final in '89, but like Gavran did his knee in the preliminary final. I did my knee in the last minor round. So you take your centreman and your number 1 ruckman out. Well, it takes a bit of it. We lost by what did we lose by? About 24 points, I reckon. 4 goal, I reckon. Yeah.
Actually, I remember that first year at Ports. You know, we'd won 3 premierships. The Port Neale and the Arno Bay boys were getting flogged, but probably their 2 best players were Gavin Wren, like Pete's son, and David Frick. They were probably the 2 best players that Arno had, and they both got knee injuries, like season-ending knee injuries that year. So, yeah, that was a fair blow in that first year too, when one of the 2 that got away. Yeah.
All right. Well, what I was going to want to ask you about is how you did your knee for starters.
Kicking the football.
What? Just kicking it? You must have kicked it bloody hard.
No. Well, it was my left knee, so I kicked it right, and as I was landing, just hitting the deck, someone come through and took me out through here.
Yeah, I had exactly the same thing happen actually. Yeah, from the side.
Should have been a 50 metre, or should have been down the field. Did roll. It was right on half time. Last minor round game.
Last minor round, geez, and you was having a good year too.
Was not too bad.
He was a brilliant footballer, Fricky. Yeah, very balanced. Yeah, both 2-sided player.
I'll be talking to him.
Just had knee problems.
Yeah. What's that first year of the?
It was an arse. But anyway, that's where it goes.
Shit happens. Certainly, the merger was a good thing for.
Oh, it was one of the best
for the
things.
town.
Oh, just for the whole district. Great thing.
The whole community's reliant on farming. It's all our enterprise, so we all talk the same language. Yeah. And I got to say that I've got no regrets about ever, because I was the president of the Arno Bay Club when I made the moves to do this amalgamation, and Johnny Chulman was the Port Neale president. I rang him 3 or 4 times before we got any meetings set up.
What happened, when we amalgamated, I was mixed up with the club. We had a meeting at Arno Bay, and they had some chairman from Cleve area somewhere came to chair the meeting. And Okay, we decided to amalgamate, and so what Guernseys we're going to have. And they said, well, you used to be black and white, we're black and white, so let's be black and white. Well, we had all these new Hawthorn Guernseys, only a year, couple of year old. And I said, well, I think the Hawthorn Guernseys are so good, and we've got full sets of them, we should go Hawthorn. And the other chap I was with thought, well, he backed me up. It should be Hawthorn. The chairman, I think, was Steve Trigg or somebody, I forget now. Brian Trigg, I think, was intermediate chairman. He said, what are we going to do now? I said, put it to the vote again. All those in favour of black and gold? Black and white. Black and white. 2 Arnabays put their hand up and I put my hand up. I knew we would not amalgamate unless we could get some sense. And the guy that was with me, he was the only one that voted that we stick with the old colours. I'd have loved to have stayed with the Hawthorn colours, but they had all the Guernseys we needed anyway at Arna Bay, and so they've been black and white ever since.
Oh, where's the sliding in roll?
Well, I think it might be. I think it might ping in for that. It's always a hard one, that one. Tommy Davey gets the free from Nick Collins, who slid in, took his legs out.
Sid's got looks inboard, finds Cooper Llewellyn.
This guy's on
square.
On his own all the time at the minute, is young Cooper.
Who's he going to go? Are you going to bomb it long to the top of the square?
It's a high ball.
And Brooks
Seals. Good mark by Brooks Seal on the chest.
Sat in the hole and done it well.
It's a famous name too, Peter.
Yes, yeah, no, it is a famous name. Brooks' dad, Gio, was a terrific player for our club. Sadly no longer with us. But yeah, the Seal family is a big name in the Kimber district.
Play on the cool. Handball over the top. Bishop. Oh, Kimber boy.
Come out the back.
Fist in there. Bishop has it now. Flicks across. Jake Mammon bangs it on the boot. It's going to work. Lenny McDonough.
Yeah, young bloke on the flank. Forward flank for Ports.
He's looking good. He looks inboard.
Oh, it's a good kick. Oh, cut off well by Riley, mate, because that was a beautiful kick. Looked like Sid was going to swallow that.
Gets a fist in.
Oh, he did that.
Oh. Advantage! Advantage!
I think he'd play advantage. It was a great goal.
Oh, you've got to play advantage. That is.
I think he is.
He's paid it.
Yes.
Now, common sense has prevailed.
No, that's a good goal.
Very good little snap kick. Would have been interesting if the ball hit the post, what he would have done.
Well,
I'm sure the Ports crowd would have
said, bring it
calling
back.
it the other way.
I'm sure they would have. No, it's a good goal, that, in the finish by the young bloke.
So Jake Turner kicked that, who first year in A grade, first proper year in A grade. He actually won the best on ground in the Colts grand final last year.
Yeah,
got a bit of talent.
Those young blokes last year for Ports who went through undefeated, I think, in the Colts competition last year. Certainly, it's good to see him playing A grade, and I'm sure they'll have a big impact on the club this year.
Yeah, Port Newell were white and black, Arna Bay were black and white, and then Dooley, Adrian, went across and he got a set of Hawthorn Guernseys. So when we amalgamated, the club went back to black and white again, because a lot of their history was black and white, because we were in the Eastern Air League and we were in County Jervois. We had a black Guernsey with a white V for a long, long time, and I think I played with a lace-up Guernsey my wife made for me for years and years. It was like a sleeveless lace-up thing made of cotton, and towards the end it was getting a bit tight. I couldn't breathe fully in because it was too tight on my ribs.
Good living?
I don't know who's got it now. Would never clue, but it's pretty well made.
Yeah. But I gather that when it came to a vote on the colours for the new club, Ports.
Yeah, they wanted to keep their Hawthorn one for a start, and then we compromised. We said, look, we'll call the club Ports, and we've got new Guernseys that are going to cost the club nothing because we had a full set of all new Guernseys, thanks to Llewellyn Transport sponsorship. And so then they're happy, then they come on board with that, and that's how he took off.
I guess Arna Bay were black and white, so, and we called ourselves Ports, which we're both seaports, I suppose, but we were Port Neal, so Ports, and their colours, which were our colours. It was a pretty easy sort of a fit, really. Yeah.
So there you go, buddy. What's that? 34-27 to 7-5 against Arno. So she's, what's that, 50, 61 bloody scoring shots to 12.
Mind you, their Colts were looking all right.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, they were pretty good Colts actually back then.
And of course they, certainly they did pretty well with the merger really, because of course, you kept the black and white. Well, they kept the black and white.
Yeah, but it came back to being like the original Port Neal when they were in the old Eastern.
Yep,
what was Eastern there? Yeah, they were black and white. So both were ports in its time. Like Port Neal, Arno Bay was a port. So hence came around to being ports, black and white. It just sort of fell into place really. Yeah. So,
and they just set a brand new jumpers.
Yep.
Apparently, so.
Yep, exactly.
Everything was in place.
So yeah, it.
And a pretty good looking jumper too, actually, I must say.
Yeah.
And we really had a pretty good relationship for 30 years with the amalgamation. I mean, I've been involved with a club that's been 30 years with Ports, and I wasn't involved with Arna Bay for that long because, I'm 77 pretty soon. And
were you goal umpire in that grand final they won a couple of years ago?
No, hang on, no, I wasn't. I was timekeeping that day.
Which would have been great.
No, I was timekeeping. That was pretty good. Yeah, I was timekeeping for that.
And but it just galvanised the whole district, the two towns, a lot of similarity. And Port Neal didn't have too many juniors at that stage. Arno still had a few juniors.
That's why they were keen to do the merger, I gather.
But it was great. And I mean, the whole thing, like there's two seaside towns, call the place Ports, black and white jumpers. I mean, Port Neal used to be white and black. It's a bit weird, but and then they went to Hawthorn colours. But it just seemed pretty logical. That was Scott's going. This has not been recorded, mate.
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Oh, for fuck's sake! I thought we were having a chat.
No. We started when I was setting that up. You see, because you were nice and relaxed. You see, that was good, wasn't
it? Easy.
There you are. Just about done now.
Yeah. Now I can do my ears.
Yeah. You see, that's what the red light means. Yeah.
Means we're on. Perfect.
We're on perfect. Yeah.
one, trying to fight, but take one, single, but one.